See Nature TV, news in your pocket.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we are going to focus our search beam on education, or rather on health, living with sickle cell anemia, practical survival tips. However, our guest is an educator and a teacher, so we're going to be merging the two aspects of life. She is Miss Ozioma Onyemelokwe. Like I said earlier, she's a teacher and a counselor. Good morning, Ozioma. Thank you for joining us this morning on the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So we are talking sickle cell anemia. It's as old as time. Everybody, even a toddler has heard something about sickle cell anemia. Is it proper to call you a sickle cell warrior? And if you're one, it means that you have gone through a lot of battles health-wise. Yes. Can you take us through some of your experiences, living and battling and of course surviving sickle cell anemia?
Yes, it's safe to call me a warrior, and it hasn't been an easy journey. This is 55 years.
Wow.
Christmas Day to be 56 years of warring, I would say that, with sickle cell. And I thank God for God who made it possible for me to be seated here, alive and well in the land of the living, because I don't think one can survive without the God factor.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that, because sickle cell is something that is like invisible. It's not something that is it's not something that everybody is. Like you said, a toddler. Yes, they've heard about it, but how many people are really doing anything about it? So how many people are really being enlightened about it? Some people just push it aside and say it doesn't matter. Yet they said they have heard about it. And it makes it worse with the fact that our health sector, the lab area, doesn't do justice to going for genotype compatibility and making it good, giving good results. Many fake results come out. Do you understand? So when you say they've heard about it, many people just feel that it doesn't matter. It won't affect me, and they don't find out their genotypes. Some adults don't know what their genotypes are. They just go ahead and keep doing what they're doing, know the person's name, where he comes from, all those other ones, and they feel knowing genotype is not important. And it makes worse when you now go and check your genotype and they give you a false result. You won't even know that it's a false result.
Interesting. We'll get to that in a bit. But what's your earliest memory of you going to the hospital? Because of course sickle cell entails a lot of hospital visits. What was your earliest memory? Can you tell us a little bit of that experience and what your little mind was telling you at that point in time? Because I'm sure you were very young at that time.
Yes, I noticed that in school I was always exempted from, like, maybe if the school was preparing a dance or anything physical, I will always be told to go and sit down, even if I wanted to join in. Okay. I also noticed that when I was young, I usually don't go to school in a term completely, or even in a month. I must be hospitalized at a point, at each point. Okay, then I remember the first time I had blood transfusion. Okay, I noticed that suddenly from nowhere I was having this headache, this excruciating headache, and nobody knew what was wrong with me, because it's not as if my parents really understood the disease at that point in time, in those early years. So I was having this headache, and at night it was this Vono bed. My daddy would put tin, this Bonvita tin on the foot of the bed to make it go up like this, just to know what's going on with. I was having this headache that I couldn't sleep. Then from having those headaches, I noticed that when I want to take a walk, like maybe from my bed to the sitting room, I'll fall. So it was getting so bad, I was now taken to the hospital. When I was taken to the hospital, my PCV or HB was checked. It was so low. I remember this one. When my father now went to the doctor to ask him, what is going on with my daughter? Why is she always having fainting spells? Why is she having these headaches? I was now so weak. I was being carried around. I was around maybe 10 years at that point. I was 10 years old. So the doctor was so shocked that he couldn't say what the result was, the percentage of the blood remaining. And I had never had blood transfusion, so nobody knew at home what was wrong. Doctor was just looking at my father like this. And my father was like, doctor, talk. Doctor, talk. And doctor said, rush. I grew up at Ibadan.
Okay.
And doctor said, rush to UCH, because we just went to university clinic. My father was a lecturer, Jaja Clinic at Ibadan. And he said, rush to UCH. Tell the doctor to leave everything he's doing and attend to your daughter. If not, she will not survive this night. I think the blood then was either 4% or 2%. I can't remember. So that was how I was rushed to UCH and given blood transfusion. So it had always been one traumatic journey to the other. I don't even know which one to start telling you because our time will elapse.
Of course.
So many of them, but this is just one example of one traumatic experience I had that was so bad. I remember again one particular time, my joints couldn't move. I was just straight like this and I was in excruciating pain. None of my joints could fold, just straight like that for days and days with so much pain. Nothing was working. Nobody knew it was because of a particular drug I was taking that was causing the complication. So these are just a few stories.
Snippets of some of the stories
Yes.
that you had to tell us. Okay, so it's also right to say that these experiences actually must have sparked up some kind of curiosity and may have put you on a journey of discovery. Why am I always going through this? Is there something I can do to, have, the same experience that kids
Others are
my
having.
age? So, at what point, or rather, what were those things that you found out growing up that weren't necessarily taught to you by your parents? You probably researched or you went for a seminar or something. What were you able to learn that has helped you over these years?
Well, I had to learn a lot by myself because I remember at that point, those times growing up, I was always angry and bitter with everybody, especially my parents, because I was like, why was I born like this? What's the problem? And then when I now started finding out that it's genetic and contributing factor from both parents, mother and father, I found out that, and I'm like, now, so no, why did you get married?
Yeah.
Since you know that this, and it took a cousin to explain to me that at those years, people didn't know. Okay, those were the years where they will, a parent will introduce another a partner to you, or when two families will come together and agree that you are going to marry this person. So they didn't really have that knowledge. Okay, so when I found out that the bitterness I had and anger I had for my parents started to wear off, I started discovering ways of helping myself. I started finding out that I need to have this confidence, because sickle cell is not just physical, not just the pain. There's a lot of psychological trauma involved with sickle cell. I find the stigma and people exempting you and people saying, without even saying a word to you, they just let you know that you're not capable, you can't do this. So I said, I had to go to God. I just had to go to God and know that He alone understands this thing, and He understands me, because people really didn't understand me. People don't understand me. They don't understand what you're going. They don't understand why you're sitting down quietly, you're not saying anything, or there's a frown on your face. They don't get it. And at that point, you're sitting down quietly with a frown on your face. You're passing through one pain or the other. That's why I said sickle cell is invisible. People don't really know that you have pain at every point in time. And when I went to God, God had to build me up with confidence, so that no matter what you say to me, or how you say to me, or you tell me do this, when I know that my body cannot carry that thing, maybe there's a task being shared at adulthood, you get jobs to do, you have to go to work and you're given tasks. Nobody cares whether you're that was childhood. Now at adults, you have to go to work. Nobody cares whether you're going through this or it doesn't matter how you look like. you have to get this task done. If I'm not able to get the task done at the time you want me to, I will tell you to your face that I cannot do it. Either you give me time or you let me go. Do you understand? So I had to discover God and discover that I'm different. I am different in a positive and unique way, not different in a negative way. I am special. It's not the way you treat others that you treat me. And I started treating myself that way. If you want people to treat you in a particular way, treat yourself that. Show people the way to treat you. Okay? So I walk with this confidence. I carry myself with my shoulders high. And if you tell me what, like you say, like somebody said to me those years, is it as a young adult, why are your eyes always yellow? You look like someone that drink kai kai. You know, such comments, there's no point responding to you. I just keep quiet. I remember when I used to work with crutches, okay, after my total hip replacement surgeries, and I had to go out. I have to go out. I'm human. I have to mingle as well. So I think I went to ShopRite with my family. And when you're walking into the mall, people are staring. And they don't even stare with respect. They stare at your feet, stare at you, stare at your feet. So what I do is I take my eyes and I stare back at you. You will now look down.
That's right.
Okay, so I had to learn all these things to survive independently. Right now I'm an orphan. Okay, I'm 50-something. I'm an orphan, but I wasn't an orphan at 50-something. So I had to learn independence at an early age. My father taught me responsibility at the same time at an early age. I'm the first of 5. So even though I had that ailment, I had to still teach my younger ones how to be somebody, how to grow up, how to be responsible as well. Okay, so when I discovered that these are the inefficiencies and limitations that I have, the other ones that I knew I can work on, like being confident, being able to teach others, being able to help others out, inspiring others, I built on those ones. All right. If you call my siblings now, most of them will tell you that they passed one exam or the other because my sister taught me. I started teaching at a very, very early year. In fact, 6 years old, I started teaching unofficially because the help that was living with us, she didn't know how to read, but she was older than I am, very, very well. And there was this program, Sesame Street, then.
Everybody in the 80s, all millennials, they understand Sesame Street.
Yes. So the way they pronounce words and teach blending and all that, I was an avid reader. My father will always tell me, get well soon, I'll buy you a new book. So in anticipation of the new book coming out, I'll try to eat, try to at least be stable, be strong, and I'll get a new book. So I loved reading from very tender age. So our help, she will always come to me, please teach me this, teach me. And I taught her how to read. Do you understand? And after that, growing up as a teenager and a young adult, even before I entered into higher institution, I was always teaching my younger ones how to pass one exam or the other. All right. So I had to learn independence at a very early age.
And it's also right to say that your parents were instrumental in molding the woman that you have become.
Exactly.
But also, would you say that your pain points, both the physical pain, the emotional pain, the psychological pain, even the social pain too, that comes with it, the stigma, do you think it inspired you becoming a teacher? And how did that work out?
I wouldn't say that was what inspired me, but I would say that along the line, I now found out that I could do that other part of inspiring others through that. I was born a teacher, like I said. I started at very early age. My father was a teacher, my mother was a teacher. Okay, so maybe that was it. Because I remember growing up as well, my father would always call all of us and say, none of you is going to teach. Don't teach. Yes, don't teach. None of you is going to teach. Teaching is very stressful. Teaching is a hard job. Teaching does not pay well. But I found myself
gravitating
and I
towards
was trying
teaching.
to do mass communication. This thing you're doing now, I was trying to do mass communication. At a point I changed, okay, food technology, but I wasn't good with maths. Okay, so when I entered into IMT, that was the first, I didn't even know I would go to school because of ill health. But when I eventually entered into IMT and to study mass communication, Because of maths, they couldn't take me. So as I was crying out of the school compound, someone just taught me, I don't know if it's an angel, and said, let me see your score, and your result. And he saw my result. He said, this is an excellent result, except maths. Go, there's a department called arts education. Go there, go and do arts education. That was how I found myself into education. And when I started teaching, I found out that I could do it. At first, I couldn't, I was too timid, too quiet. I usually don't talk. But growing in the industry has taught me to talk, to teach, and to be very bold and confident in the industry. Because I remember in those years, in those early years, somebody walked up to me and said, are you the one that teach these children, or the children teaches you? Because you don't look like, you don't talk, I know you. I didn't respond. Such questions, I don't respond to such questions. But along the line, I now found out that I can inspire. I can tell my story. I can, even when teaching the children, I can tell them one or two things. I can motivate. Okay? So, like what you asked, teaching is like a calling. I didn't enter teaching because I wanted to enter teaching. Teaching is a calling for me. And through that, through teaching, I also inspire and try to motivate others to be better.
All right, your story is truly, truly inspiring, and someone is probably listening to you now, and the person either is a sickle cell patient or knows someone or has a relative who has the disease, sickle cell disease. What are some of the physical survival tips? I know I had this conversation once with the sickle cell survivor, and he mentioned something about drinking lots of water. Are there other tips that you've been surviving on,
Yes.
that took you all this while up until 55? Wow.
Yes.
Please share with us.
Yes, hydration is very important. Taking a lot of water. Also, staying cool. What I mean by staying cool, extreme temperature is very bad.
Whether low or high.
Whether low or high, especially the low one. Okay, but because you might see the weather is so hot, everybody is hot, even you are hot, but suddenly you start having crisis because of the very, very hot temperature. And also make sure you have a network of support, a support system. Okay, people you will call when you have one issue or the other, because as a warrior, you will always need somebody around you. You will always need the help of somebody. Okay, so make sure you have a support system, your family, friends, and any other person that takes interest in you. Okay, and then you have to, I cannot overemphasize the God factor. In fact, it's the God factor that has brought me here, because there are so many times I should have gone. So many times. This is a TV station. I can't start taking up your time, but there are so many times I should have just gone. In fact, in 2020, I had gone.
You think it's because you've discovered your purpose? That's why God is giving you this new lease of life? Or he's just merciful? Because it can't be that he's more merciful to you than he is to the next person.
I call myself, I say I wear grace. That God had to make this attire, this dress called grace, and wear it upon me. I also say he's merciful. Okay, he's very, very merciful. All right, so I also believe that if not for God, I won't be sitting here. Yes, I've discovered my purpose, but before I didn't call it a purpose. I didn't even know. I used to ask God, why am I alive? I used to question him all the time. What am I still doing here? I don't get it. I don't get why I'm still alive. But as days, weeks, and years and months, I see that people call me on the phone to talk about their sickle cell children. People call me to tell me their own problem as warriors, and I find myself encouraging. I take pride in saying my age. That was before I was 50. I didn't know, I wasn't saying my age, but immediately I said I was about to hit 50. It was like a light bulb. It hit me. 50. But they said you can't you can't live long to 20 something, to 30 something. 50, how did you get here? So from that time onwards, I started singing my age like a song, because I'm not even supposed to live to see this age. Okay, so discovering my purpose now came at this point. I now found that, okay, when life throws lemons to you,
Yeah.
make lemon juice out of them. The devil thought he gave her sickle cell to make her this and that, but out of sickle cell something has come out to inspire others and to make other warriors know that you can live. It's God. You cannot say you are a warrior going through crisis and you don't have Christ. It doesn't rhyme, doesn't make sense. You know, I've seen pictures of warriors that have put nose piercing, and I'm like, the one you're going through is not enough. You're adding nose piercing. Every warrior needs to embrace Christ. That is the only solution. That I'm sitting down here is just the God factor. It's just, no, I will not say it's the drugs. I'm not even faithful. I will not say it's the drinking water, because I will drink and drink and drink water still. When it wants to come, it will come. I will say it is God. It is all God. Is all God.
All right, thank you so much. Uzioma Onyemelukwe, I wish I had you here for longer. You know, because when you hear people who have gone through sort of things you have gone through, it's such a source of encouragement for someone to hold on, you know, longer, to believe stronger. So thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you so much listening to us. I'm sure you've learned a thing or two. Don't go anywhere. New Day continues after now. Stay with us.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.